think it's hard out here for a saint. Y'all don't hear me. Sometimes we go through stuff that's hard on a saint, and it feels like a saint shouldn't have to go through. Are you with me in here this morning? Sometimes, tell the truth, you wonder whether this saved stuff is worth it. You wonder whether turning the other cheek is really worth it. Sometimes it appears that stuff is so bad and so dark that you wonder whether it's ever going to be the light of day. I'm going to just talk to the 5 folk who going to be real this morning. Sometimes you have an area of your life that is so dark and dead, you wonder whether you ever going to get some life in that thing. Sometimes you can go through a season of darkness, whether you wonder whether you're going to ever see the light of day in your situation. But I got good news for you this morning. When you're in a situation where you can't see your way out, it's then that God comes on the scene to show you your way out. Do I have anybody in here that knows when it's dark and you can't see, the light of the world is right there on the spot? Do I have anybody in here that's been in a dark space who needs God to show up, turn the light on for you, and show you? See, it's at midnight where God shows up with instruction. Come here. Go on and stay in the Bible, verse 25. It says, about midnight. Somebody say midnight. About midnight, in the dead of night. Midnight, in the middle of the night. Midnight, when you have as many hours in front of you of night as you had behind you in night. When you feel most discouraged, midnight is the bewitching hour when all hell breaks loose and you feel the loneliest in your situation. Midnight. Somebody say midnight. But I don't care how dark your situation is today. I don't care how long you've been in your midnight. You have to believe that God, the light of the world, can turn your stuff around. I'm speaking to somebody in the balcony who said, I'm going to just slide up in here because I'm about to give up on this thing. But you need to understand something real. Weeping may endure for a night, but the Bible says that joy comes in the morning. You might be in a midnight right now, but you need to set your clock by the word of the living God, that God's about to give you a wake-up call. Songwriter said, late in the midnight hour, God's going to turn it around. It's going to, come on, won't you give a turnaround sign up in here? You're late in the midnight hour. God's going to turn your thing around. He said it's going to work in your favor. Do I have anybody who could use some favor on their dark night? Come on, somebody ought to do a turnaround on the enemy. Late in the midnight hour, God's going to turn it around. It's going to work in your favor. Y'all are my smart, intelligent, reflective, unemotional group who says, get real. Don't give me any of this churchianity and all of this hype. You ain't Jesus hype, man. But here's the reality. I'm not trying to give you religious rhetoric. I'm trying to help you cultivate a spirit of expectation. Somebody say expectation. When you're hemmed in and seemingly walled in on every side, the only thing that will keep you from blowing your brains out is that you expect that sooner or later trouble ain't gonna last always. Oh, y'all don't hear me. Well, when you expect something, you do something so that you can experience the something that you're expecting. What are you talking about? If you expect to win, you prepare to win, that you might experience a win. If you expect to fly, you prepare to fly, that you might experience flight. Y'all ain't hearing me. If you expect to climb a mountain, you prepare to climb a mountain, that you might experience a mountaintop. Y'all ain't hearing me yet. If you expecting God to do something, you prepare for God to do something, that you might experience God doing something. I want to know, is anybody expecting God to do something in your life that he's never done before? Are you expecting a new thing in your life? If you're expecting something new, you got to do something new. You gotta look at it like you're waiting on the bus. You gotta look for God like you're waiting for a ride. You gotta look for God. You can't come to church chilling, talking about serve me. God said, I already served you. I hung on a cross for you, and I can't get you to expect nothing from me. Expectation brings manifestation. If you ain't expecting nothing, don't expect nothing.